The Louie Bellina Show. Sticking with Monday, I'm calendar impaired. Our final hour on Monday, here's how we're going to do between now and 2. Barely, but still under 60 minutes left. Maroon and white notebook? Check. Going to enter the rest of the world of sports. We're going to register one person to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and that's thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. Grohalski Sausage Company. They have 2 locations. Both are on Main Street. One, Bremont. The other is in Calvert. That's Grohalski Sausage Company. Also, before we reach 2 o'clock, I got to listen in. Bucky McMillan, A&M basketball head coach. He spoke with the media. That's after the dub in Norman, Oklahoma. I would love, then why not just do it? Okay, well, a text message sweep. So if you got something on a Monday you need to say, a thought you need to spit out into the universe, Aggie Athletics and more, text 979-693 1150 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. Text 979-693-1150. What's on your mind? 979-693-1150. Maroon and white notebook. Aggie football, I guess you could say, officially announced Saturday. Maroon and white game set for April 18th. 1 o'clock, inter-squad scrimmage at Kyle Field. You'll get a chance to see the Aggies 2026 edition. A lot of new faces, as we know. Admission is free. There'll be more details to come for sure. What are going to be the fan activities? Sometimes, most importantly, how's parking going to work? And they will share those stories a little bit later on. But the Maroon and white game, April 18th at 1 o'clock. Book it now. Admission is free. Something I wanted to share from the Maroon and white notebook, but women's tennis on Sunday took on Texas. Women's tennis is ranked 5 in the country. Texas was 10. SEC opener for both schools. 4-3. A&M women's tennis beat the hell out of Texas. In the win, they extended their home winning streak to 76 matches. That's a win streak. With the win, they extended their home winning streak to 76 matches. And they've now sawed off the horns in 9 of their last 12 meetings. That is a heck of a matchup to kick off SEC play, huh? And 4-3 the final. The A&M women's tennis team opens SEC play 1-0, but they beat the hell out of TU. Congrats. That's, call me crazy. That's pretty awesome. Maroon and white notebook. Aggie softball. Man, they were down in Cathedral City, Mary Nutter tournament. They had a tough schedule. Opened up 14 Oregon, 14 Duke, and they split that one, beating Duke. On Saturday, they took on number 6 Nebraska, dropped that one 8-2. Took on number 11 UCLA, and that was to wrap things up on Sunday, and that game was tough. They're up 5-0, middle of 2. UCLA, number 1 home run team in the country. They had a 3-run shot. They had a grand slam. They had more home runs, and they ended up UCLA run ruling the Aggies 15-7. And something to remember, tournament play is not necessarily a reflection of how a season's going to go and how real play works. Because when you had SEC play, 3 games, 3 days, not your 5th game on a Sunday after, you play like their Friday night game was scheduled for 10:30 and they didn't first pitch until almost midnight or after midnight. It was something insane like that. So I don't want to say it's not real life because that's 100% false. But I hate to say these things happen. You don't want to ever get run ruled, and I couldn't care less who you played. You get tired. You get out of sync. Things spiral. That is the best way to put it. And that's what happened in this game because UCLA bombs away. Teams like that can lightning strike you. I'd sure like to see the Aggies win games that they score 7 runs or more. Probably about 10 out of 10, to be fair. It's time for them to get healthy. They're going to come home. Finally. They've been on the road 3 out of the past 4 weekends, playing top 25 after top 25. They're going to come home Thursday through Sunday. They don't have anyone that's really a threat in the tournament. Should be some dubs, should be some run rules, should get healthy. They're 10-6 to start the year. All 6 losses are to top 25 team. They're 1-6 versus top 25 to start the year. They challenge themselves. They've learned they got work to do in the pitching department. But again, remember something. The 3-game series format's a lot different than this tournament format, and I believe head coach Trisha Ford is experimenting, trying to figure it out, and it won't look the same once you get to the 3-game weekend. But top 25, and when you go to SEC play, you don't face top 25. You're going to be facing a lot of top 10 teams. It'll be even tougher competition. It'll be interesting to see what direction this goes. Softball America top 25, Aggie softball is now 18. Maroon and White notebook. Talked earlier, first hour together, but Aggie baseball sweeps Penn. Walk-off, game 1 Friday. Walk-off, extra innings in 11 Saturday. And then 7-1, the most complete game of the 3 on Sunday. Pitching was your storyline. They did not walk a batter the entire weekend. They did not walk a batter the entire week, 4 games. And when you say pitching, they give up 2 runs total. Only 1 was earned. That was starters. That was bullpen. That was everyone. It was the entire A&M staff. Simply, absolutely brilliant. Simply, absolutely brilliant was A&M pitching over the weekend. They were phenomenal. Nothing short, nothing less than. Now, you wanted to see the completeness. I would have killed to see Home Run Derby continue. There are extenuating circumstances. Injuries. Still no Hercopian. Caden Sorrell. So, I hate talking about injuries. This team had a thin margin to begin with. Didn't have room for injuries. I think injuries is one of the storylines of last year too. But they're 7-0. This upcoming weekend, well, they got Lamar in the midweek, but then Virginia Tech 6-1. But I don't know how good they really are. They got run ruled by Rutgers in their Friday game, 16-1, and then won 2 one-run games over Rutgers Saturday, Sunday, 9-8, and then 4-3 on Sunday. UCLA, number 1 team in the country Saturday, and a 7-0 Arizona State on Sunday. But you might as well win along the way as you're learning along the way. And Aggie baseball undefeated. I don't know if you want to use your Olsen magic on Penn. I don't know if Olsen magic has a limited number of charges either. But learning to win, having to rely on other people to step up for you to win, other than the big 3, I don't think can be a bad thing. Do you? Latest D1 baseball poll, Aggie baseball up another spot to 23. They've started 25, moved up to 24. Now they're number 23. Maroon and White notebook, Aggie basketball. They go to Norman, Oklahoma. Oh, Bill, do you have news you need to read? By the way, stepping inside the Charles Schwab studio, Brian Broadcasting news director, Bill Oliver. What's up, Bill?
College Station ISD schools are in lockdown. College Station Police reporting on its Facebook page, reporting a threat made at College Station High School. They're investigating the source of the threat. All campuses placed on what's called secure status, which means students and employees safe in the building. Exterior doors are locked. Normal activities continue inside the school. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out until the secure status is lifted. This has been going on for a couple of weeks around the state, where there's been threats made at a variety of public schools.
Could you read the whole thing just one more time? I mean, people might have come in the middle or finally realized, oh, this is something to listen to.
College Station ISD schools are in lockdown. The police department in College Station on their Facebook page reporting that there's been a threat made at College Station High School. So all CSISD campuses are in what's called secure status, which means nobody gets in, nobody gets out until their secure status is lifted. And parents are asked to stay clear of their schools until their investigation's completed.
I'm sure if there's any other updates, I can count on you. Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Folks can independently follow the College Station Police Facebook page.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. So there you go. Breaking news, which, of course, WTAW, Bill Oliver, our news director, and that's why we have the news for you. So, and again, WTAW.com will have the news for you if there's any updates on that. But thank you, Bill. Really appreciate it. They're trying to keep everybody up to date. And again, I don't want to expand upon that. Bill gave you the details, and that's all the details we have for now. Again, we're inside the Maroon and White Notebook here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, here on the Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Low cost, full service, best of all local. That is Schwab. You can visit Mark Sim. You can experience a modern approach to wealth management. Find Mark online at schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. Inside the Maroon and White Notebook, Aggie basketball. They went to Norman. They never trailed. I thought they were pulling away with about 5 minutes left, but the struggle to finish, but Oklahoma was not good enough to come all the way back. Ended up taking the win, and just one basic thought, really basic thought. This point in the year, this deep into the grind, this deep into the season, but this deep into the conference season, the hows don't matter anymore. It's no more about, seriously, I think about developing the system or this player looked good, this player looked bad. I don't think any of that matters at all. You just win. You just find a player that can make a play or two extra. You find what's working that night. I feel like this is where coaches earn their money. I mean, they're doing it every day. They're running a whole program. I don't want to insult anyone, but this is where your coaches, the staff, everybody, the hardest, because you're trying to squeeze every bit of juice out of everything you have. And in the week that they had to have it. Not 1-1. I know, but if they beat Arkansas and they beat Kentucky, yeah, I know. But I felt like you couldn't put that poison arrow on your resume. You couldn't take, the 2 losses or 1-1, and you can't lose to LSU. A&M's strength, no quad 3, no quad 4 losses, taking no bad L's. That's, I think, their strength. So, broke the 4-game losing streak. Again, Lenardi, as of yesterday, bracketology, they're no longer on the bubble. They'd gotten as high as 7, slipped back in the 8-9, entered last week on the 10, even after beating Ole Miss, still 10. You're a heartbeat away from going to Dayton at that point. They were bubbly all last week. Nope, off the bubble. Tough week ahead, Fayetteville Wednesday. Beat the hell out of TU on Saturday. That's what taking care of business does for you. And they're 5th place alone for a team picked 13th. I think I've said this before, but rumor has it I've repeated myself before, but what Bucky is doing is incredible. Hope people see it. Hope people can get on board. And when I say people, I do mean fans, but people with checkbooks. People with checkbooks. Hope he gets the NIL support necessary to compete. That's how it works now. Before, money meant facilities. Money meant facilities. And then other things that change. But now money means NIL. If you don't have that, I don't think any of the other stuff matters. You can't compete at that point. So the understanding of what Bucky's doing makes the people that spend go, that's going to be a great return on my investment. I don't mind throwing some money that direction. 979-693-1150. That's my text message number. Aggie Hoops. Final thought for today. Logan Lee will join me tomorrow, 11:20, inside the Charles Schwab studio. We'll have a lot more Bucky Ball Aggie thoughts then, but 4 games left. Arkansas, Texas, that's this week. Kentucky, LSU, final week. And it's so simple. 2-2. 2-2. They do that, they're 11 wins. SEC, it's done. There's no conversation. There's no going to the tournament with, they get 1 win here, 2. Nope. 2-2, they're done. You can just start booking the NCAA. I don't know the seed, and I don't know the quads and reads, but they're in. 2-2. And the easiest path is obviously Texas and LSU. They can go 4-0. If they get to 2 wins, I'm not going to, start rooting against them or anything, but 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. Beat the hell out of TU, take down LSU. 2 teams that I relish their misery. So I'd be really good with beating both of them. When we come back, text message sweep and more. It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, and community. CC Electric.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Woo! Fun is allowed and sports are fun. Weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. Caller 5, you're registered. You'll be today's representative. I don't know if that's really a title, but you're on the list. You're a finalist to win those pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo each day. 1 person. Every day this week, we pick 1 person. Sometimes you text, sometimes you call. Today's a caller 5 kind of day. 979-693-1150. Call now. Caller 5 now. You're a finalist. You'll have a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And it is all thanks to Grachalski Sausage Company, artisans of homemade smoked meat products and custom processing since 1952. That is Grachalski Sausage Company. They have 2 locations. One of them, Main Street in Bremond. The other one, Main Street in Calvert. They're both on Main Street. 1 Bremond, 1 Calvert. Call now. Caller 5 now. Dial away. Good luck. Get yourself registered if you would love to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Tell you what I want to do. I love the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox because I have no clue what's going to pop up next. We go now. Peruna and College Station. I am old. I miss the old Southwest Conference. Over the years, there are moments where I miss the old Southwest Conference. But in the end, I do not. There are too many schools that did not invest. There are too many schools that fell behind the time. There was too much. Okay. In the SEC, everything is bigger. It does mean more. That's not a joke. In the Southwest Conference, it was neat being able to drive to every game. It was neat in your office. There was a Rice Owl, a Houston Cougar, a Baylor Bear, Texas Longhorn. Like, the rivalry of it was really cool. But the trade-off of what you gained, to me, always offsets what was lost by leaving the Southwest Conference. Everything is always about money. You always chase and track the money when these conversations are had. There is no expansion of markets for an all Texas conference. It wasn't going to happen. That's kind of the truth and the reality of the storyline. So I could say I miss certain elements, but I don't miss the Southwest Conference. Get the difference? That when I say that, in no way, shape, or form am I endorsing saying, let's go back, they should put it back. No. But it was neat sitting in your office and everywhere you turned was a rival. You don't sit in your office now and there's a Bulldog, another Bulldog, a Rebel. Yeah, that's all. Chris and Brian texted and said, hey, Louie, what's up, Chris? Was listening to the radio for a few minutes ago. Oh, this is about 30 minutes ago, but yeah. Just thought I'd share. I graduated culinary school from Montpelier, Vermont, the only state capital that does not have a McDonald's. This is back in 1989. Have a good one. Dude, thank you. That's kind of cool. Appreciate it. Seriously, that's pretty cool. Text message question. Is Bucky the SEC Coach of the Year? Okay. I want all the final data points. Don't get me wrong. Yes. I don't see how that's a question. A team picked 13th that's going to finish 5th or 6th. A team that picked 13th that's going to be in the SEC tournament. We know he inherited one player who did not play late in the process. Can't be from the Florida coach. They're the defending national champs. I put away the standings. I don't know how Bucky cannot be the coach of the year, honestly. And for those that might sit there and go, well, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're an A&M talk show host, you know better than that? You know better than that. Yes. Now they finished 0-4, which would leave them at 9-9. Man, even then, he's a finalist. I mean, people don't understand the depth of what he's doing. But my answer, if the season was over today and they're 5th alone, they're in the NCAA tournament dunzo, yes, Bucky McMillan is the SEC Coach of the Year. Next text message. Lou, that's me. This team ceases to surprise me. Perfect, no, but pretty darn good and can beat almost anybody on a good night. That's all pretty accurate. Almost anybody. Like, looking back at this year, so far with 4 games left, Florida's the only one team that you go, nope. Every other team they played, Oklahoma State was a disaster. 3rd game in the first 5 days of a new system when they don't have buckyball, their buckyball legs or anything. I think there's a natural explanation. If they rematch now, I'd take A&M. I'd take A&M in a heartbeat, actually, but that's a waste of energy almost, but I'd take A&M. So, the only game that is just no to me is straight up Florida. So when you say they can beat it, I do believe they can beat every team I've seen them play but one. Without a doubt. Even in that 4-game losing streak, Alabama was kind of a mini classic. Missouri, you just had to hit layups. Vanderbilt was a disaster. Dead-legged road, 11 a.m. on a Saturday. And I hate to be so dismissive, those happen, man. That's like conference. That's SEC grind. You don't want to excuse it. You don't want it to happen. You want to be better than that. But sometimes you got to have these reality moments. You can look back on 16 SEC teams. I'll bet you there's 14 of those games. There might be 2 teams total that avoid that it happens games. There might be 2. Maybe 2, maybe 1. So, okay. We're in the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. Sad in college athletics now. Used to be bleed for your school. It's just who could pay me more. That being said, just win. Okay, I've got a question that goes beyond college athletics. Didn't it kind of used to be the dream, not abnormal, forget college athletics, but anyone would go to their job and the dream, you get a job, you'd work there 20, 30 years, retirement, gold watch, gratitude, and all that kind of stuff. And you, the worker, if you're in the right place, you'd bleed for your job. You'd help make the company great. But now we live in a world where it's pretty obvious, corporate, we're all disposable. Like people are getting it beat out of them, that people don't bleed for their jobs anymore. Because once technology or situation changes, we as humans are not the most valuable thing more often than not, where it used to be we were all in it together in the workforce. Things like that. Is the college athletic situation much different than how the real world has evolved? That's kind of where I'm headed with that. Is it really? Amateurism on the college football level, now it's just spread to other sports, hasn't been very amateurish for a long time. In the SEC, I would argue for 20, 30 years ago, it hasn't been very amateurish. But now it's just more open. Now it's more visible. But here's maybe a tougher question. Do you find college football, let's stick with that for now, is any less enjoyable when you're watching it? Like at halftime, do you go, man, I'd have so much more fun if the NIL cap was higher, or he wasn't being paid so much, or whatever. Like, that's off-season stuff. Ratings are off the chart. Total number of viewers. I mean, ratings for everyone that carries college football is insane. So, yeah, those are the things I ponder about, to be honest with you. Because I don't think, like I said, I think college athletics and the money is not kind of like the workforce too. 979-693-1150. And not every workplace, but the general philosophy, how it used to be, how it is, and how it seems to evolve. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. When we return, the Bucky McMillan Listen-In, the win after OU, and just a heads up, it's easy to hear Coach. The questions themselves, maybe not necessarily as much, but I love listening to Bucky, especially after dubs. Who doesn't? This is the Louie Bellina Show. Down the stretch we come. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Monday edition on The Zone.
The Money Machine is now open. The easiest radio contest on the planet. Enter now at zone1150.com to win $5,000. What are we waiting for? And great weekly prizes, too.
It is the Louie Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio. In uncertain times, Charles Schwab remains invested in their clients by offering personalized guidance and clarity. How do they do that? How can it be personalized? It's Charles Schwab. Well, we got Mark Sim, who's right here in College Station, and eat here, sleep here, goes to the games too. That's personalized because you can walk into his office, shake his hand, look him in the eye, sit down, have a conversation. Look up Mark Sim. Get answers to your questions. Learn more at schwab.com/College Station. Here is Bucky McMillan, a listen-in after the dub over OU.
A great win by our guys. Look, I've been knowing Oklahoma and their staff for a while. I told them before the game, I felt sorry for those guys. I'd watched them play all year long. They've been in every game, and sometimes, just sometimes you'll be there and it's not your night. I've seen Oklahoma in these games just not be there late in those games, man. They could easily have a flip record here in a lot of these games. So we know they're a good team and they're really good at home. They're playing good basketball. They obviously won at Vanderbilt, and they've been tough in this gym for sure. End of the day, that was just an old school win by our guys on the defensive end. We didn't get too tricky. Didn't have to get too creative in the full court. We just had to go back in the half court and try to lean on them and guard. And the difference with the game is that we held them to 25% shooting in the second half and 32% shooting for the game. If you lose on the road doing that, you just lose. But we couldn't do much better on the defensive end. I thought we played decent defense the first half, but Oklahoma did a fantastic job of giving effort and getting offensive rebounds to keep them in the basketball game. not the prettiest game if you love offense, but if you like road wins, man, for all the Aggies out there, that's how it's got to be done, man. You just got to scrap and grind on the defensive end. So we're glad to get it. We know it's a hard place to play, and we'll probably could run into those guys in Nashville.
Questions for Coach?
Rylan, looked like Rylan really wanted the ball a lot in the second half. You dropped that play for him on that eventual game-winning two that he had, or was it another look?
Yeah, that was the play. We're trying to get him the ball there on the wide pin and play with him and Rashawn. They were letting it physical, very physical at the rim the second half. They were late, which I'm good with because they let it be physical both ways. And, so we know we were going to have to earn one. We couldn't just get bailed out with a foul. And, he did that. Rylan was dialed in today. He was dialed in before he walked out on the floor. I could tell, man, he's been in these moments. We know what these games mean, and he was ready to roll.
And Rashawn as well, just another night where he carried you offensively in the first half as well. You said he would have games where he would make threes and surprise people, and the 2 threes he hit in the first half were huge. You feel like you've seen that from him in practice where he's starting to get his 3-ball back?
Yeah, I mean, Sean can shoot it, some of these guys have shot it really extremely well. There's a digression to the norm. Rashawn will probably continue to make shots because he's a better shooter than he shot it all season long. So he can do that, man, and, we're going to trust him doing that.
And then, obviously, you had to have the win for looking ahead to March. I know that's not what you're telling your team, but back-to-back games where you just had to have the win, you pulled it out late in the final 5 minutes. What does that say about your group? That it's not a pretty win, but they don't ask how, they just ask how.
It's great to win different ways. Like some games we got to get up there and turn teams over. That game was just an old-fashioned, solid half-court defensive game. Come down, and it was not the fastest game. It was a player's game. And what I mean by that is it was a lot of matchups in that game. Just matchups. Can you win your matchup? You mentioned, you don't want to talk about the significance of these wins, but, we told our guys before the Ole Miss game, the NCAA tournament starts right now. If you're going to go win the NCAA tournament, anybody's got to win 6 games in a row. Like, that's the mindset you got to have with that level of focus. You can't be a team, if you want to play in the NCAA tournament, you can't be a team that gets to the NCAA tournament and then all of a sudden, like, their senses are keener and they're ready to go, right? You got to have that to get to the NCAA tournament. And we had that versus Ole Miss, and I think we had it tonight, even though it wasn't the prettiest. We had it tonight. We got to have that in the next game in Arkansas.
And then my final question is, the first 5 minutes of the second half hasn't been your strong suit. Y'all were like minus 29 in the last 6 games. What was different? You say anything different at halftime today to where you had that strong start?
I was on them pretty hard. at halftime. Wasn't pleased the fact that we held them to a decent percentage from the field in the first half, but we gave them so many offensive rebounds to keep them around in that game. I mean, we went zone, and I think they missed like 8 shots in a row in the zone, and somehow we lost ground because they kept offensive rebounding it. So obviously we just challenged them, man. We can't win on the road if we're going to give people those kind of opportunities back at the rim. Our goal, we want to have more field goal attempts than the opponent. Sometimes free throw can play a part in that. It was right there, 62 to 61. They shot 4 more free throws.
Coach, is it any more difficult when you get a team that's retiring their former players' number like Buddy tonight? Did that add anything to it, do you think? Or?
It's more difficult for the coach when I look out there and they're all in the Buddy Hill uniform. I got to play against 15 Buddy Hills tonight. It's like, man, we're in trouble here. But it had a good vibe in there, and I tell you, the crowd, SEC's SEC, the crowd, you could feel them in that game. With every 3-point shot lake, you could feel them rise, and they had an impact on the game. So congratulations to him, man. I know he's done a lot of great things here.
That was Bucky McMillan to listen in after the W. And again, I apologize before we even got into the listen in that just the way the recording was, that it was a little bit light. Okay, Bill Oliver, sports director, joining us here inside the Charles Schwab's studio again. Got
I
an
haven't been a
update?
sports director in a long time. Thank
Did I
you
say
for the
sports
promotion.
director? You love sports. You know you love sports.
I've been in that world.
News director, Brian Broadcasting, WTAW. What's up?
Received a text from a WTAW listener saying that the lockdown is over at CSISD schools.
Okay, all right. The
threat was a hoax.
What? Oh, okay. You know what? Good.
Better
I hate to say
safe
it that
than
way.
sorry.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Considering the options, that's one of the better results in the end.
Correct.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Bill Oliver, news director, Brian Broadcasting and WTAW, an update there that the lockdown is over. The lockdown is over. Thank you, Bill. 979-693-1150. kind of want to wrap things up in the rest of the world of sports. And if we're not in the maroon and white universe, the rest of the world of sports is hockey, Olympic hockey, where yesterday, USA men, golden goal, beats Canada. We already knew that the USA women beat Canada too. How do I feel? I just want to share the words of Jack Hughes, who scored the game-winning goal. This is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. I'm so proud to be an American today. For me, that's one of the beautiful things about the hockey teams winning. If you saw when the USA women won and they're all singing the anthem, and then the USA men and the pure joy and the celebration and bringing out kids and family and loved ones. And when I got into the Olympics back in the day, and there's always politics behind the Olympics, never get it twisted or confused, but it truly was about the sport and the country. But we live in a world where everything gets politicized. We live in a world where you listen to the reporters and they're intentionally egging things on. And, you know, it's not all the players, athletes' fault. The reporters are trying their hardest to create a stench too. It's so frustrating sometimes. And both these teams getting gold, getting revenge, great rivalries. USA men's hockey, first time in 46 years, finally got over the hump on Canada, missing teeth, winning a game that some want to say, if you love hockey, there's no such thing as deserve. It's settled on the ice, and sometimes a goalie stands on his head. Sometimes you miss the empty net. You can't cash in a 5-on-3. Sometimes the hockey gods have just decided to be fickle. There's no such thing as deserve. It's always settled on the ice. It was an incredible, and both, that's the thing, both. And both of them wanted to represent their teammates. First passion of all sports. They weren't representing their NIL. They weren't auditioning for the next job. Weren't looking for clicks and likes. And then their country. And that's what got it to me early on in the Olympics was their passion for their sport and the passion, for USA. I kind of dug that. It always appealed to me. And those ideas now seem kind of old-fashioned. And, we don't need to debate that and platforms, freedom of speech, and people talking about things that necessarily maybe, they saw the talking points but don't know the details. And we all are different people. And we all have our own different viewpoints on life. But dang, this is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. I'm so proud to be an American today. Things that we don't get to hear. Things that at times some people frame that we're supposed to be embarrassed about. Really? Like really? I thought it was beautiful. It was good to have that feeling again. It's good to have that feeling again. I have more thoughts, but I sometimes keep some of it to yourself. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Rest of the world of sports, the whole rest of the world was Olympic hockey. Men, women, USA over Canada. And I can even tell you the whole thing about beating I have no grudge with Canada, but for me, it's purely a sports context. What it means to beat the homeland in hockey and to get over the hump in that rivalry. That's what it means to me. What did the legendary Ric Flair once say? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And in hockey, Canada's the man, whether it's women's hockey or men's hockey. So that's what Canada means to me. So absolutely just emotional, fantastical, and greatness of sports and the moment. And yeah, all-time moment in sports. I'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll say bye. We'll wrap up the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. The Louie Bellina Show, Monday on The Zone.
Visit the Pod Center at zone1150.com and find every hour of every day of your favorite shows. Download or subscribe.
The Louie Bellina Show, wrapping things up on a Monday. So looking ahead, Texags Live is going to be live. That's why it's in the title. Texags Live is going to be at you from the Combine Tuesday through Friday, Tuesday through Thursday, Tuesday through Friday. That's freaking awesome. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that myself. Here on the Louie Bellina Show, 11:20 tomorrow inside the Charles Schwab studio. Logan Lee. We talk a lot of buckyball. 12:35, I got to listen in. Bucky, he had his media day. Kind of wrapped up, I don't know if it was 30 minutes ago or so. He will preview Arkansas, Fayetteville Wednesday night. So we'll listen in Bucky McMillan at 12:35 tomorrow, Tuesday. Also tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Olin Buchanan live from the Combine in Indianapolis. He'll join us on the D4 Land Services hotline. And at 1:50, Community Spotlight. It's every Tuesday at 1:50. And tomorrow, we're going to visit with, do math in your head, Lou. Brazos Valley Food Bank. That's pretty awesome. So that's a lot of Tuesday tomorrow. But before we head out the door, I love these kind of cool infographics. But I saw every MLB team with a 500 or better record all time. 500 or better record all time. There's 2 teams on here I don't think you would get. There's 1 team on here there's no chance you would get. There's 12 teams total. The 500 club. Every MLB team with a 500 or better record all time. 12 total. There's 2 I don't think you'd get. There's 1 I know you won't get. Like Yankees is easy. They have the highest win percentage all time, 570. 10,872 total wins. That's not the most number of wins, actually. Highest win percentage. The most number, and this is total wins, right? San Francisco Giants, 11,622. The win percentage is 535. So most number of total wins, but win percentage, it's the Yankees. Now, Dodgers, 532. St. Louis Cardinals, 11,363. These are the 500. It's the 500 clubs. Every MLB team, 500 or better record. Red Sox, 518. Chicago Cubs, 513. Cleveland Guardians, that's still hard to say till today, 513. The Cincinnati Reds, 504. The Atlanta Braves, 503. There's 3 teams left. I said there was 12 total. 503 has 3 teams. I just gave you Atlanta. The Houston Astros are one of the 12 teams of the 500 club. Every MLB team with a 500 or better record all time. Astros are one of those 12. 503. 5,096 dubs for the Houston Astros versus 5,040 losses. So Astros at 503. Now, here are the 2 teams. And like I said, there's 1 I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have got. But the Detroit Tigers, 503. And that's not the team I think there's no chance. The Detroit Tigers, 9,763 wins. The team, and this is hilarious to me because I believe then if they're exactly 500, well, by the end of this upcoming season, we will only have 11 teams. Every other team is safe, barring catastrophe of staying in the 500 club to start next year. But this team is exactly 500. 10,910 up, 10,910 down. And it's the Pittsburgh Pirates who, I guess they invested They actually signed some free agents. Maybe they could threaten 500. So maybe I shouldn't be so quick to just say no. I saw another list that had all these teams with 1% or less chance to win the World Series, and the Pirates are not down as one of the dregs entering the season, so maybe they could stay 500. But 12 teams total are 500 or better all time. Go Stros. On the Louie Bellina Show, I got two things for you. Go Stros. Go Stars. I got to get out of here. Hope you had fun on a Monday. I know I did. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being a part. This has been the Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. This has been the Louie Bellina Show Monday edition on The Zone. I'm back tomorrow, let's say 11 a.m. Peace.